Coming up on the Interludes Podcast, June is Black Music Month, and we kick off our month-long celebration and series on certain genres of music, including gospel inspirational. What is the story behind gospel music, especially created in Chicago? We'll hear from one of our own, an award-winning musician and songwriter, and a leadership mentor and author I feel it's necessary for you to learn about. I'm Val the Voice Johnson, and this is the Interludes Podcast. The Interludes Podcast,
a Pure Lighthouse production.
This episode is brought to you by PureLighthouseMedia.com, home to the book, A DJ Saved My Life, where the ABCs of podcasting and the personal memoir come together perfectly. If you want to start your podcast journey, schedule a 15-minute call with me, research our podcasting blog tips. It's all on our fully remodeled website today.
And now, all the way from the south side of Chicago, give it up for your host, Val the Voice Johnson.
Welcome to another edition of the Interludes Podcast. June is one of my favorite times of the year. You want to know why? 21 days in, we get the summer solace and the start of summer. I love it here. And then the other thing is that you'll hear music pumping from all kinds of cars, and people are shining up their cars, shining up their tires. They're doing everything in the Midwest. And then, of course, Pure Lighthouse Media, we started the podcast, the Interludes Podcast, one you're listening to right now, 6 years ago in 2020. Our official start date was June 26, 2020. So all of us around here get so excited when we reach our anniversary of the podcast. Now, last year it was a success. I wanted to focus on a genre of music for every week, and we would bring on folks, especially to our Talk on Tuesday platform, to talk certain genres of music. Sometimes it was myself and Coach Tony. We talked about some of our favorite genres, house music, hip hop. But it was wonderful to have people to come in and speak about inspirational and gospel music. You know what? I am so proud of the music that was created and that you hear every single week. Kendall Nesbitt is an award-winning musician and talented keyboardist who has been in and around music performing since he was a kid. He's Chicago's own, and I definitely would be amiss if I didn't say West Side represent. But the wonderful thing about my cousin Kendall is that he had like 2 or 3 songs on his computer, some that he was testing out. And he says, you know what? If you're starting this podcast, why don't you check out some of these songs? And of the 3, the one that he gave me was called Get It. Is it gospel? No, it's not. It sounds smooth, and then it gears up. And I always tell Kendall that I get inspired every time I hear the theme music because I know it was made with him being the key, I want to call it guide, to make that song happen. I was thinking about having other people on to talk about gospel, but then I thought about Kendall's background and how me, my Uncle Thomas Say, his grandfather, my mom, my Aunt Rita, my Aunt Lois, my Aunt Gloria, just the family, when we would come together for family reunions, as young as, I don't know, in his teens, if there was a piano or organ around, Kendall was on it and bringing the family together with a gospel song or more. And of course, that comes from his mom, that comes from his aunt, that comes from the family. We have a lot of talented folks in our family. And I figured, you know what, let me have Kendall come through and speak on gospel music, and especially all of the talented musicians and gospel artists that came from Chicago. On a recent edition of Interludes Extra Presents Talk on Tuesday with myself and Coach Tony, Kendall kicked off our month-long celebration of Black Music Month talking about gospel music in Chicago. Take a look. Yeah. And when I think about you mentioned that it was like a need for musicians. When you are training your ear to play some of the gospel standards, and Tony, if you've gone to church, there's certain songs that you always hear, not necessarily in a form of, let's say, a funeral or anything, but just like those old hymns. What were some of the artists that you were listening to that kind of shaped your ear early on?
So you mentioned the old hymns, Chicago being the birthplace of modern gospel, from Thomas Dorsey to Mahalia Jackson. And so, of course, Amazing Grace and, certain hymns, even moving kind of more up to date with Andre Crouch and the Thompson community singers from Chicago, Reverend Clay Evans and his choir Fellowship, Dr. Charles G. Hayes, the Clark sisters, the Caravan, so Shirley Caesar and Albertina Walker, and, different people. So you kind of those were sort of staples when it came to really playing and absorbing gospel music, which is essentially the good news. I guess that's the definition of gospel, good news.
Yeah. And I think that things that are uplifting. And I know when I first started thinking about gospel music, I was about 7 or 8, and it was Walter Hawkins' Love Alive, that album, Be Grateful, I'm Going Away. Like, these are some of the songs I remember. I learned a interpretive spiritual dance to be grateful or whatever. And now when I hear it, it makes me think of my mom. It makes me think of my great aunts. It makes me think of my grandma. It makes me think of all of these folks. And so I don't know. It's kind of I feel like inspirational gospel music can be very healing. The Interludes Podcast with Val the Voice Johnson is sponsored this week by the Unlocking Greatness Retreat with Zinja Glass. If you want more information about attending the retreat in Chicago in person or streaming in via live stream, go to unlockinggreatness.com. And if you want more information to join her dynamic community for entrepreneurs, check out the link in the description of this episode.
Hey, I'm Coach Tony, and this is the Pull Up Podcast Show. For every Monday, we break down the game quarter by quarter and give you information as well as break down the culture. Join us on the Pull Up Podcast.
Pull up, pull up. It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. Pull up, pull up. Bounce the voice and Coach Tony, it's the Pull Up Podcast show. I said bounce the voice and Coach Tony, it's the Pull Up Podcast show.
Welcome back. Now, with Coach Tony, I knew we weren't going to stay completely in the lane of gospel music. I knew eventually we would get over to house. Tony is a DJ by love and by heart. He loves the music that came out in the late 70s and early 80s that shaped our sound of Chicago house. But it's fun to know that a lot of music, especially the lyrics, felt gospel somewhat, felt inspirational. And when I think about some of the house giants like Frankie Knuckles, Ten City, Jamie Principle, a lot of the music and the sound came from Chicago. Now, all of it wasn't gospel, inspirational house music. However, Coach Tony talked with our guest Kendall about kind of the influence of house music and gospel and how they work together. Take a look.
Man, Nez, I was going to ask, I'm a big house DJ. I was there when the house was originated coming through Chicago, late 70s, early 80s. It just took off by storm. Fast forward, now I get a lot of, I wouldn't say arguments, but more small debates on people, whether they like / gospel house or something of that nature. Do you see yourself as your musician, possible producer, or whatever, when you see these people that are playing gospel house music, because it all kind of derived out of what Kirk Franklin kind of put out there early on, and now it's going to another level. What are your thought processes of that? Or do you don't mind because it's art form?
It's an art form. I love it. It's expression, and you're supposed to take the gospel out into the world. That's the point. So I love house music. I'll tell you, I've been in clubs where they're doing house music. Terry Hunter is a good friend. So, he would spin. Yeah. When he got into that house, into that gospel pocket, and mixing in the God, it's all soul. So at the end of the day, man, there's a movement. You could see people catching the spirit in the club. Yes. You know what I mean? So I think it's all connected. We've gone so extreme on one end, and that's kind of the cycle of life. I think it's going to come back where these young folks, they want what's real, and they know when you're not real. They know, they want something that really touches them and that can kind of get them through. And so I think gospel is kind of coming back into, what's going to really touch and pierce the soul in authentic worship. We were just blessed Sunday. We had a whole bunch of young people come to the altar. It's probably like 30 young folks coming to the altar, just really wanting to get, because they're going through some real stuff, and they don't want you to be on no commercial. I'm just trying to make a hit. They want you to produce and talk to them and kind of speak to where they are and give them that answer and that, so.
Yeah. And they said that the young people right now are buying vinyl records out the roof. I mean, I told Val, there's a local vinyl shop here in Nashville. I go shopping. I spend sometime there, man, sometime 2-3 hours in the shop. I roll in there and forget how long I'm up and like, whoa, man, I've been here for 3 hours. And then I'll look around sometime, man, and see these young folks. And Val, you would go crazy to see them coming in and they going over, looking at Chic and Sister Sledge and Teddy Pendergrass. Like, what y'all know about that?
It feels different. It feels different to them, and they want it.
Yeah. And I think what's most important is that we kind of have this return to gospel. We have this return to being raised in the church, or just kind of that and redefining what it means to be there for someone, the neighborhood be there for you, where I was a latchkey kid. So the entire neighborhood looked out. See, looked out for you. Yeah. And if you got out of line, they had permission to, whip that
tied
tail
back up.
Back in the
Right.
I'm straight right on up.
Yeah.
And I think that's the thing.
Community.
And the community was there. Just Gloria, Jay, she just said that loving this conversation. She's a singer, and she started in her grandmother's church in Massachusetts.
Boston, Mass.
Nice. She looks like Angie Spivey. I was like, is that Angie related? Which is another gospel great in Chicago. It's like, wait a minute.
I know. And then Jason says that the pendulum, it's swinging. It's going to swing back the other way. And that's my prayer, that we get back to kind of that, I don't know, that gospel where it just reaches down in your soul and it just makes you feel like God is real. Hey everyone, it's Val the Voice. We interrupt this wonderful episode to ask a question. Are you subscribed and liking this particular episode? Well, we want to make sure that you are following us on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. And of course, subscribe to the YouTube channel because we want to continue to give you great content just like this. All right, I'm so sorry. Let's get back to the episode right now. Welcome back. Well, I have to share about a phenomenal leadership mentor that I met 3 years ago at a women's retreat. I saw her speak very powerfully from the stage, and then eventually I saw her with her book and her jewelry, her beautiful jewelry. And I was thinking, she's also a podcaster? I had heard whispers about her and saying how powerful she is. And you need to get to know her. And if you both are podcasters, you definitely need to follow her. And I was like, okay, all right, let me do that. But it was good. I had her sign the book that she released called Necessary. And I'm glad I told her that my name was, it says, To Val the Voice, Looking Forward to Connecting. Love, Zinja Glass. Now, I've been doing quiet times with this book off and on for the last 3 years. And one of my favorite standout chapters of this book that I want to tell you about is You Are a Lion. What instantly comes to mind musically is the song from The Wiz, where the Cowardly Lion, the Tin Man, and Dorothy and the Scarecrow all sing that they are a lion. The Wiz, one of my favorite musicals ever. I unfortunately never got a chance to see it on Broadway, but that reassurance that you are powerful. And she had to have a conversation with her daughter who was being bullied or talked about. And I have got to read this part because this is what's powerful. Don't ever give your power away. So, I want you to go to school and walk with your head held high because you know who you are. Don't run after people. Ooh, that got to me. Don't be afraid to walk alone, sit alone, or make new friends. Others will become attracted to the light they see in you. I am a lion, and you are my child. My blood flows through you. Don't you ever, and that's in caps, forget who you are. You are a lion. Now, do we need to be reminded that we have power within us? Do we ever chase after money or chase after clients or chase after business or chase after people that no longer are serving us? The one thing that the major takeaway that I had from this is that I am a lion. You are a lion. Don't let anyone belittle what you have built, especially if you've built a business or a podcast or you've written a book. One of the most emotional parts of this chapter, as I found out, is that her mom said this to Z. And she said she didn't want her to go. But her mom says, you're going to be okay because you are a lion. And ever so often her daughter requests, could you give me the lion story again? That's just one chapter of this phenomenal book. And I find myself doing quiet times, changing my mindset in doing a podcast, doing a business, being a woman of God is what's necessary. And then I thought about it. I understand the title. And so what I am excited to let you guys know and what you saw is there is a retreat that's coming, the Unlocking Greatness Retreat by Zinja Glass. And she's asked me to speak and be a panelist on podcasting, and it's available in person in Chicago. The information about this retreat, you can join us virtually, and it's available in the description of this podcast. I hope you get a chance to unlock the greatness within you. And if you need an encouragement that you are a lion, I say you go ahead and make it necessary for you to be a part of the upcoming retreat. We'll be right back.
You make sure you share this message with someone who needs to hear this today. Someone needs to be reminded that they are strong and they are a lion and they will make it through this season. I'm going to share with you all one of the most requested chapters from my book, Necessary. These are some of the last words my mother spoke to me before she left us. And I was going through the darkest and most difficult season in my entire life. And my mother had to remind me that I'm strong. And now I want to remind you of that. This is from Necessary. This is the chapter titled, You Are a Lion. I broke down in tears because I didn't want her to leave me, nor did I believe I was strong enough to deal with all the pressures I was facing at that time. I was shaking so hard, I placed my forehead on her forehead and I said, Mama, please don't leave me. I'm not that strong. I'm not that strong, Mama. I thought she would cry with me, but she didn't. She moved me about 2 or so inches from her face and looked me in the eyes with a determined, resolute, strong expression, without any fears or doubts about the words she was about to say to me. And she mouthed, You are a lion. You are strong, baby. You strong, and you are going to make it. Those were some of the last words my mother spoke to me. I want to remind you today, my brothers and sisters, even in this difficult season, you are a lion. You are strong, and you will make it. You make sure you read this entire chapter and let me know how it helps you.
Welcome back. I have another thing I want to read, and this is mainly for myself. These are the words from the Leadership Mentor. This is from Necessary, You Are a Lion, the chapter. Please don't ever beg anyone to love you. Please don't ever beg anyone to accept you. If someone has decided to walk out of your life, I pray that God gives you the strength to walk in love and humility as you open the door very wide and wish them well. And if the season has come for some people to leave your life, you must know that sometimes you have to be okay with standing alone, just you and God. And there are so many gems in the book Necessary, and I would encourage you to just find out more with the Unlocking Greatness Retreat, as well as going to unlockinggreatness.com to find out more about Zinja and what she is doing to help women and other entrepreneurs unlock what is great about them in business and in life. Myself and Coach Tony, we're going to be continuing our celebration of Black Music Month throughout the month of June, and then also celebrating our upcoming anniversary, our 6th anniversary of the Interludes Podcast, and this platform that has spun off a couple of platforms. I am so excited for the guests and others that are coming throughout the month to discuss music. And the one thing about gospel is we need the gospel, the word of God, to encourage us that we can be and can do anything we put our mind to. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And if that needs to be something you tell yourself in business, that you tell yourself when creating music or becoming a DJ or a podcaster, let it come to life. Let it be necessary for that to happen. I'm Val the Voice Johnson, and this is the Interludes Podcast. The Interludes Podcast with Val the Voice Johnson is sponsored this week by the Unlocking Greatness Retreat with Zinja Glass. If you want more information about attending the retreat in Chicago in person or streaming in via live stream, go to unlockinggreatness.com. And if you want more information to join her dynamic community for entrepreneurs, check out the link in the description of this episode. The Interludes Podcast.
Original concept by Valerie Johnson.
Sports segments for Talk on Tuesdays, produced by Coach Tony Thompson.
Original intro and outro music produced by Kendall Nesbitt.
The Interludes Podcast, a Pure Lighthouse production. This episode is brought to you by our brand new website, PureLighthouseMedia.com, the official home of A DJ Saved My Life, where the ABCs of podcasting meet personal transformation. And now available in print. Order your signed copy today and discover how finding your voice can change your life. Are you a business or entrepreneur looking to promote your work through a dynamic podcasting platform? Partner with us through sponsorship and marketing opportunities. Your message belongs in front of our audience. Got that $1 million podcast idea, but don't know where to start? Whether you need a coach, a guide, or a full-on producer, I'm here to walk you through the process and bring your podcast vision to life. Visit PureLighthouseMedia.com today to get your book, book your consultation, or connect with us about sponsorship. Let's grow together.